For most of human history, darkness was inevitable. In response, we learned to harness the power of illumination. There is safety in the light, for it allows us to see the unseeable, to know the unknowable. But really, we should not fear what lurks in the darkness, but that which basks in the light. You must remember, burn them or they'll burn you, he thought. Ray Bradbury. Let's go back to April 2025. I know this video's late, but it is what it is. The Sunshine update just released and it's been a while since the last tournament. Naturally, people wanted standard rules, or at least that's what I call it, to explore how these new additions would shake up the metagame. I've already discussed the logic behind these rules through other videos, so I'll just list them here. Tower defense is banned because it causes crashes due to a bug that only happens under very specific conditions. But the main additions to the format feature a brand new partner, Sunny, which completely throws off conventional wisdom because she does not specialize in one stat. Barkley is usually the most popular choice due to the extra speed, which matters quite a lot as it allows you to hit specific speed thresholds more easily. But Sunny has 105 speed, which is 5% faster than the player. Not quite as fast as Barkley's 120, but being just faster than base 100 is already worth considering. Sunny is more skewed towards the melee side and has a little extra range attack, but is much worse at taking ranged hits. Whether or not it's better to be a jack of all trades, we'll see, since I'll be sticking with Sunny for this one. Speaking of Sunny, Pop Rinse is a compelling new addition, largely thanks to Bear Hug. It's a soft form of status control, allowing you to transfer a debuff to the enemy. This is actually implemented in two parts, removing the status effect from the user and transferring it to the target. As such, even if Bear Hug misses or hits a wall, the debuff is still removed. In other news, switch priority is now randomized, for the most part. When it comes to switching, the game will randomly pick which side will be processed first, rather than favoring the host. However, this does not apply to round 0 starter moves like Custom Starter, which still prefer the host when resolving speed ties. This matters in edge cases like using offensive CS moves with no machine curse present or palanggol in CS Fair Fight. Plus, there's still the whole pre-battle weather thing, in which the host's location or current weather is used to determine the starting weather for butterfly effect. With that out of the way, let's get back to the plot. I can't quite shake that I'm still trying to chase that old fame, an impossible expectation from a long time ago. There's always this uneasy feeling I get whenever I make another one of these videos. There's that compelling feeling of needing to do good, to reach beyond the shadows cast by a perceived greatness that never existed. Still, I want to experiment with some more outlandish ideas. I started off with a Meditate Scampire build, combined with Mind Meld Pop Rinse. The game plan is, thanks to Mind Meld, Scampire can use Bear Hug to transfer sleep to the enemy. It's a lot harder to do this combo in practice since so many leads use CS Sprint to gain the speed advantage, so I don't have enough speed to meaningfully threaten my opponents with sleep. And even beside that, the strategy isn't even consistent thanks to Custom Starter. Yes, it's one of the best passives in the game, but its probability curve is so terrible, you can easily lose control of the match if it fails to activate at the wrong time. And in this case, a success rate of about 60% isn't going to cut it. Frozen Ground 2 Heads Regency is difficult to deal with. Oh yeah, that's a thing now. You can thank Black for that one. At plus 4 speed stages, Water Dance and Icicle Dart deal too much damage. And thanks to Multi-Strike, it has an 81% chance to land at least one hit. And then, there's Kepri. This nuclear bomb still deals way too much damage. 300 ranged attack is not acceptable. It is very slow, but that doesn't matter when rapid fire is on the table anyway. It's also really good at roll compression since it's got absurd stats, sticky spray, butterfly effect, good elemental resistances, and machine curse all in one package. New game plan. Lightning Litigator can better deal with Regency's main attacks. I'm also adding in Fire Hontum to the team, with Fireproof and Hardback in that order. All non-critical fire attacks only do 25% the usual damage. Slap in CS Mind Meld and New Leaf and we have a really strong support option that can deal with... What do you mean Hontum gets 2-shot by Kepri anyway? Ah, right. You might think that you can just counter Kepri with Close Encounter. It applies a status effect of the same name that turns all attacks into melee, which severely dampens its damage output. But this doesn't work well against melee heavy teams or a fair fight which blocks all status effects. And while walls would do nicely at absorbing all that damage, there's also been a resurgence in crumble usage, and guess who can use crumble? Even with that aside, walls cost 2 AP, making CS walls your defensive solution that can just fail if it feels like it. And there's no reliable way to deal with a Khepri fusion, so you have to be even more careful with the opponent's fusion meter. A lot of so-called counters aren't even consistent, or can be remedied with a better Khepri team. That's not really a counter now, is it? But then, why only now? Well, even though it's never won a tournament before, Khepri always saw fairly high usage. Both the people and the teams have gotten better since then. And Khepri has proven to be effective against the increasingly common Arcade Zoo Strike leads who spend their first round using New Leaf and Sticky Spray respectively instead of dealing damage. I have done a lot of practice matches, completely changing teams to find something that works, but something's just not clicking. Why is this so difficult? I don't understand. Time is running out. I'll be very busy on the days leading up to the submission deadline, and of course that has to take priority. Nothing is working, everything feels off, and I still don't have a team for the tournament. The sun is about to set, and I need to figure this out before the shadow fades into the darkness. The shadow is very much a part of human nature, and it is only at night that no shadows exist. Carl Jung. The truth is, I've had some help with prepping for this tournament. Meet Amay Sora. Sora's a good friend and someone I consider to be my rival. Just between the two of us, we've done over 100 matches against each other. We tend to brainstorm a lot, so it's no surprise that we ended up teaming up for this one. We tried so many things to deal with the Khepri problem, but really, the answer has been in front of us the whole time. Who would have guessed Khepri is the best counter to Khepri? It has the highest range defense in the game, making it a true metaphorical tank. It hits really hard and doesn't go down easily. I used a fire bootleg just for the cool factor, as the same type bootleg is functionally the same as the normal variant. Now, I have a nicknaming team in mind. As some of you may not know, I am Asian. Apparently neither the accent nor the time zone gave that away. This may not sound that big of a deal, but representation is important especially when you're a minority. At the time of this tournament, the overwhelming majority of members of the server are Westerners. Even my own YouTube audience is predominantly Western, and sometimes this assumption goes unchecked. With that in mind, my nicknaming team will feature various mythologies and cryptids across Asia. I tried my best but it ended up being more concentrated than I would like. Anyway, back to Khepri. We're running some standard stuff. Rapid Fire is the main attack and Khepri's best move, which it loses access to as a non-fire type. Being a priority move allows it to overcome its speed problem. Butterfly Effect is a stronger move at 6 AP or above, plus due to the whole pre-battle weather thing, it's good alternate coverage. Fireproof is here to counter opposing Khepri and any other fire types that could appear instead. I went with Custom Starter Race Arms to effectively boost its range attack from 300 to 450. Echolocation, because if you can run it, most of the time you should. AP Starter so that leading Khepri plus AP Factory gives me the option to open with Rapid Fire. AP Refund is just nice to have in general, even though Butterfly Effect can't trigger it. This means sacrificing other good options, but I have 5 other tips to compensate. Oh, and in case you're wondering, I ordered my moves this way because this is optimal. I put the moves I want to use at the top for menuing efficiency, sandwich the CS move with the passive below it so it doesn't backfire when the moveset gets altered, and put echolocation beneath CS Race Arms to optimize against copycat and multi-copy looping. I went with the nickname Fanfanilag, a fireball spirit or will-o'-the-wisp from the Ifugao language in the Philippines, Maphod Anhim Batangan. Anyway, this fire specter is a vengeful spirit, a bad omen when encountered, aptly named because whenever you see this thing, death is sure to follow. For Khepri to be effective, it needs a huge amount of AP, and so it needs a partner with AP Factory. Sora and I settled on Astral Anathema as one of the best mons for this role. With 2 heads, Mind Meld, and multi-copy, this is a very good defensive switch-in while also enabling your offense for future turns. I gave it Machine Curse since you need to have a couple of that on the team, especially since CS Dual Wield AP Steel has gotten popular. Metal Resistance is here to reduce damage and mainly avoid getting berserked from Shield Bash or Braids for Impact, which is a common move on defensive ones. While Sora chose to run 0 attacking moves under Anathema, I slotted in Clubber so it can dish out serious damage once enough AP has been accumulated or as a fusion. I nicknamed it Nawayupa, a chimera from Myanmar, Mingalapa. This Burmese creature is composed of 9 different animals. What those animals are depends on who you ask. Being an amalgamation, This creature combines notable properties of the 9 animals, and Anathema is, well... There is, however, one glaring issue with running Anathema. It has 85 speed, and Capri on Sunny hits about 83 speed. With Mind Meld up, they both get AP Factory, and it triggers by speed order so Anathema ends up with all the AP. This is normally not a problem on Barkley teams, but Sunny makes this a bit awkward, so I have to plan ahead to avoid this. Next off is a fast New Leaf user, mainly used to gain control of the field. Since this game is built around stacking status effects, removing your opponent's buffs is just as important. We'll be going with a classic for this one. Plant Zoostrike, the very same tape I first introduced way back then, with a couple of changes to adapt to the current meta. First, I'm switching over to Frozen Ground because doubling your speed ruins any semblance of speed tiering, and Sunny being slower than Barkley means I need all the help I can get. Ice Camouflage keeps Zoostrike from being rapid fire fodder, as well as give it 20% same type attack bonus for Icicle Dart. Echolocation is a no-brainer, and AP Starter is mandatory so I can lead with Zoostrike and use New Leaf almost immediately. Even though this is Plant Strike, the same tape I've used from the very beginning, I'm changing its name to match the theme and to represent how much it's changed to adapt with the times. Wutogui, a headless ghost in Chinese urban legend. Daija Hao. Zoostrike has a cloud instead of a head. That's it. Wutogui roams at night, bringing with it misfortune and death. For what is misfortune if not the absence of fortune, and, well, plus 4 speed Zoostrike Icicle Dart is a force to be reckoned with. A second New Leaf is also important, and it just so happens that we have a fast and bulky mon that can do so. Ouroboros. Ouroboros? It's easy to fit into a lot of teams due to its immense utility. New Leaf, Sticky Spray, Butterfly Effect, Machine Curse, these are all good moves to have. So I naturally went with Mind Meld. I ran Plastic so that under default weather, Butterfly Effect is Plastic type, which covers for the common Astral and Lightning types. I also gave it AP Starter so it can use New Leaf or Sticky Spray right off the bat. I named it Tsuchinoko, a Japanese snake-like creature. Konbanwa. It can supposedly assume a wheel-like form by swallowing its own tail, much like Ouroboros does. Since Sun is on the team, I might as well use her signature tape, Paw Prints. It will be the dedicated melee attacker on the team since they're sorely lacking in that department. Leading up to the tournament, Sora tested out a dual-wheel Desperation set inspired from the randomizer tournament, and it's really strong, but I wanted to give it a different take. Because I dropped Sticky Spray on Capri, I would like another way to apply Evasion Nullified, one of the most powerful debuffs in the game. I settled with Bite and Trap Jaw. With multi-target active, Trap Jaw activates twice since it hits 2 opponents, so it's a very good way of making sure Evasional sticks. I ran multi-copy because of course it gets that, as well as its Frozen Ground and Bear Hug. This gets rid of Frozen Ground's one drawback, and Bear Hug also helps with status control. I could have also added in Pity AP over AP Refund so that it gets free AP every time Trap Jaw misses, but AP Refund is nice to share via Mind Meld or as a fusion. 2 AP Refunds results in a 36% activation chance, which is significant, though in hindsight Pity AP is just the better choice. I'm running Beast type so it gets the same type attack bonus from Bite, and Beast is a generally good defensive type to use, though the downside is Beast resistance sees enough usage. I nicknamed this one Ongnyo, a bear from Korea's creation myth. Annyeonghaseyo. A tiger and a bear wanted to become human, and in exchange they were instructed to eat what amounts to very little food for 100 days. The tiger gave up but the bear persisted and became a woman on the 21st day. If I had to live off of that diet, I'd starve so bad I'll start biting anything and get my my jaw trapped. I still need a tape that would hold this team together. Of course, it's Plant Palangolin. I personally think this is one of the hardest monsters to use effectively because this stoic warrior is the ultimate control freak. Fair Fight completely prevents new statuses from being applied, and paired with New Leaf you can force your opponents to play without any status effects. When switched in at the right time you can block Sticky Spray or force opponents into making awkward switches. You can also manually set up Fair Fight in anticipation of the opponent using New Leaf, and if you lead with Palangolin you can give slower teams a difficult time. That is, assuming Custom Starter cooperates, because, of course, it only has an 82% success rate. You could instantly lose the game if CS doesn't activate when it should, and even more so with CS Fair Fight. With that aside, this Palangolin is somewhat standard, with Beast Camouflage, Beast Resistance, AP Starter, and New Leaf. Beast Resistance is a good way to mitigate neutral heavy hitters, especially for Bite, since hopefully Fair Fight will prevent Trap Jaw from activating. Palangolin's HP is its most important resource since it needs to switch in and out multiple times. Part of the challenge here is sustaining a monster with less than usual total base stats. but when damage is unavoidable, it's just bulky enough to barely leave a big hit from something and is workable as a fusion, so it can make the most out of dual-wield desperation. I nicknamed this one Veo, which is a large pangolin-like cryptid from Indonesia. Salamat sore. Supposedly it's nocturnal, and it might be based on a couple things, one of which is a now extinct species of giant pangolins. Palangolin dropped in usage a lot but still dominates team building considerations. So that's what I'll be using for the tournament. This ended up being very similar to Sora's team with some minor variations, but they said they were fine with it. The least I can do as things is to make a big splash in the tournament. We've been split into 2 pools or groups based on time zone and schedule considerations. The round robin phase features 5 rounds and I would like to get top seed for the tournament. Before we begin, I'd like to show usage statistics for this tournament and who would have seen this coming. Also, if you want to watch my matches, they should be up on my second channel, Side Larry. It is a channel that exists, and I don't really have any concrete plans for it just yet. My first opponent is Pun. Capricorps is tough to deal with due to Sherlock's evasion boost and neutralize removing status effects upon dipping below half health, allowing it to occasionally survive lethal hits. But the worst part of this team has to be CS Delegate Grampus, which in conjunction with Palangolin can transfer Fair Fight. Delegating does not advance timers that round, so it effectively lasts longer than 3 turns. A coin flip will decide who will be hosting first. I lost a coin flip for first host advantage, so I have to play safe with the Zeus Strike Palangolin opening. Pun instead went for faster Palangolin Fair Fight through Barkley. The first round is very passive with both sides just clearing statuses, but that means the opposing Palangolin did not reapply Fair Fight. This gave me an opportunity to switch into Kepri and threaten big damage, while the Pop Prince is here to close out the endgame. After taking the double KO, the opposing Palangolin shows up again to set up Fair Fight. Kepri doesn't really want to stay around here, especially in the face of Brace for Impact, so I switch into Anathema, who has metal resistance, and Zeus Strike, whose Ice Camouflage would be blocked and thus won't be at a disadvantage. But this is also to utilize the double speed Pop Prince setup earlier, which I used to sweep and take Game 1. For Game 2, I switch up my leads. Since this slot has no status effects, I expect Pun to switch in a different tape. I tried to switch Palangolin to keep it statusless, but I lost the 50-50 on who switches first, and now my side threatens no damage. I tried to adjust but again lose the 50-50, but I have to deal damage now or it would have been all for naught. Because I could just attack here, I didn't think the low HP Grampus would show up and delay the Fair Fight timer. But Grampus does show up, keeping it still active, so I wasted that round trying to set up. Now that Fair Fight's gone, I want to switch in Palangolin and ensure I have control of its timer, but I lost the 50-50 again. Next few rounds are just me trying to stall for time and whittling down the enemy tapes until Fair Fight is about to expire. And then, this happened. That was a 1 in 32 chance to crit and high roll on Sunny. With Sunny down, there's not much I can do, because Fusion is still waiting. For the last game, I finally get to host and pick Broken Head as the location because the weather is windy and makes Butterfly Effect into airtight. I make a risky prediction and lead with Anathema Kepri, which would have been really bad if Pun led with Palangolin. This attack connects to Capricorps and Trifinx barely survives. Enemy Palan appears and I still don't get Mind Meld up, so I reset the board state by using New Leaf. Fair Fight gets activated on a Pop Prince switch, which blocks the Sticky Spray, but because both Trifinx and Capricorps are at low health, nothing wants to switch into a Rapid Fire even if unboosted. Air-type Butterfly Effect hits both targets so I don't have to get the targeting right, and since I still have very healthy tapes, I clean up and take the set. For round 2, I'll be up against Alpha Quaken, running a Haunt team. I had trouble with Haunt in past tournaments, and while I'm not running Phase Shift, surely having 3 New Leaf users would be enough, right? I'm in the coin flip and host privileges, so I went to a location with Pollen Weather, though this did not end up mattering. I went for a lead that can cover multiple leads Alpha can run, which prevents an early Haunt. But he has the faster Zeus Strike thanks to Barkley. Of course, I'll New Leaf that, but I will manually use Fair Fight here predicting enemy Zeus Strike New Leaf. Because Honey Palan is faster than Apocalypse, I can get Fair Fight up again before Apocalypse gets to do anything. Now, neither opponents can get rid of Fair Fight, and I have control over the pace of the game. I switch in the usual big damage pair, make a favorable trade with the opposing Kepri, which has no fireproof. Now, with one turn of Fair Fight left, I choose to use Rapid Fire to let it expire and let Anathema use Mind Meld. Due to the awkward speed stats, Anathema gets all the AP, but because the Southpaw appeared and got Ghostly up, it's time to set the trap. The other ghost shows up. I switch in Palangolin and set up Fair Fight. The trap has been set. From here, I make sure there's always a New Leaf user present, even if I have no intention of using it. Fair Fight blocks Dog Ear, so Alpha's tapes are on a timer. My goal now is to discourage Alpha using New Leaf by letting my tapes soak up damage and by feigning the need to do that myself. Capri going down here is the key to victory. The final round of the turn plays out. I make sure Anathema is on Sunny's slot, who will be moving last. Ghostly expires, leaving both fighters exposed as they can't set up a wall to protect themselves. Anathema attacks and ends Game 1. Time for Game 2. We're in Cast Iron Shore where Butterfly Effect is Water type, perfect against my Capri. I lead with Anathema Capri and Hunt doesn't activate again. I take advantage of this by switching in Palangolin Fair Fight and got to switch first. No reason not to click Rapid Fire here, as damage is damage. While it seems like I'm well in the lead here, that's often the calm before the storm. How do you take down a Capri fusion? The answer is the very location Alpha chose to deal with my Capri. Water Butterfly Effect. And Anathema, because of course. With 2 tapes left, I do the same tactic as last time and stall out the timer. But I still have a whole team left and so I secure the game and win the set. Next up is Uranus. This team mainly relies on sweeping with Sticky Spray plus Dual Wield Stamina Dark Query, as well as some high defense good stuff mons that will put our team to the test. I don't have host advantage for the first game, so I went with a safe double New Leaf lead. CS Frozen Ground did not activate. Just Strike does not threaten any damage, so I need to reposition. I then lose the switch priority 50-50, and with Palan present on the field, I am in a terrible position. While I try my best to claw my way back, I need to find an opening quickly. Fair Fight running out is just the opening I need. I switch in Palan one round before that happens, just in case Gallagher switches out, but now I found my opening. Kerry relies on setting up Evasion Null, so it either has to switch or use Sticky Spray, a perfect opportunity to bring out Capri and manually set up Fair Fight. I finally found solid ground to push ahead and win, but yeah, that's Fusion. I am in trouble. New objective, survive for long enough until Fusion is available. It took a while, but of course, I bring out Palan and Fuse to protect against Sticky Spray Gallagher running away with the game. Fusions are hard to take down, so they can comfortably be at an HP range where Dual Wield Desperation can wreak havoc. So long as Fair Fight stays up, there's no parrying this victory. For Game 2, I'm running the Anathema Capri lead for early game big damage. And now that I have Fair Fight on my side, I can be more aggressive and launch attacks non-stop. Okay, maybe that was too aggressive. I have a good out though thanks to the burn chipping away a total 30% HP over the course of 3 turns. So I play carefully and that's a disconnect. That means the game was null and void. I make it a policy that when this happens we must use the same parameters. Same location, same leads. But then a disconnect happened again. The problem with this is now we're effectively at Game 4. Longer games means Zara has time to adapt to my playstyle and know some of the tricks I have up my sleeve, plus it makes the mind games more difficult. I do the exact same thing for the first round because even if Zara adapts, damage is damage. And now there's a Capri out for blood. CS Fair Fight didn't activate and Gallagher just used Sticky Spray. I hate custom starters so much. It's so good but it's also so bad. Whatever. I still have a contingency plan anyway, though Anathema somehow survived long enough to bring down Capri. On the bright side, I now have a Capri on Sunny with 10 AP and multi-strike for double rapid fire. Sunny bear hugs to close the game and finally win the set. My round 4 opponent is Black with his signature Earth Artillerex. This one runs CS Plastic Wall. It never activated once the entire tournament. That's because Artillerex does not naturally get Plastic Wall and no one noticed. It's a team sheet error that was only spotted later, so yeah. I tried to play cautiously around nothing. Oh well. The Dreaded Regency is also here, though at least it's not the Frozen Ground variant. This team was put together rather hastily, so this Minus team will only ever hit itself with dual wield desperation thanks to Machine Curse. But this Gambal has CS Guzzle Fuel and will punish you if you don't have Machine Curse up. Starting off, I lost a coin flip. Thinking that Artillerex could set up walls, I went with Palangolin Ouroboros to prevent that. I take down Artillerex after firing a strong butterfly effect and Anathema being Anathema, but now, the demon is out. Astral Trifings, with Wonderful 7, is extremely volatile. I will instantly lose if it rolls Sleep, and Berserk and Confused are really annoying. I have to switch in Palangolin to try and stop this. And of course it didn't activate. Trifings use Magic Tomb instead though, so while the debuffs are not ideal, I have one more opportunity to use Fair Fight. The demon is finally down. With Fusion available, I go for it, but the HP isn't looking good. Regency chose the Water Dance for free healing steam. I don't mind the stat drops because I will take that 30% cumulative healing. Of course, Black prepared anti-fusion measures to Gasoline Spray, though having Fireproof means Burned now only deals the usual 10% damage. Though I can just New Leaf myself and set up Race Arms when I predict a Gasoline Spray. I eventually win the trade and take game 1. For game 2, I went with the Poprin's lead for the speed control, but it gave Gambal the opportunity to screw me over. Trifings is ready for Wonderful 7, so of course, I have to switch in Palan. This time Palan cooperates. The problem is that Palan has taken too much damage that in the event CS Fair Fight fails again, that could cost me the game. I had no choice but to prepare for a Wonderful 7. It could be Rapid Fire instead, so I need to bring out Kepri. Berserk is really bad, but at least it's not Sleep. The speed tearing issue still messes it up, but at least Anathema can take on the role of a Kepri. Regency is still dangerous. Thanks to an AP refund, it tracks twice and successfully brings down one slot. What matters is Sun is still around, and I have a Kepri in the back to win game 2 and take the set. Now, it's not the time to be complacent. A 3-way tie is still possible, and I'd rather not be forced into a tiebreaker. So, I'll have to be on the top of my game, especially against Tamay Sora. I have yet to win a set against them in a tournament, and I would like to fix that. This is probably the closest we'll get for a mirror match. Because we've played against each other so many times now, I will have to play some really tough mind games. Yeah, no surprise there. We're somewhere in Mount Whirl, where Butterfly Effect is Ice type. Without host advantage, I went with Palangolin Sunny to try and pin a possible Kepri lead by Sora. I would like to reapply Fair Fight this turn rather than switch, since Sora might switch in Palangolin, and I could be out of position if I try to double switch to get my buffs back. Sora double switches, and the Kepri is out. Fair Fight means no Sticky Spray next round. I don't feel threatened keeping Palangolin on the field, as Kepri can't use Rapid Fire and I want Palan to take damage anyway to make Desperation stronger. The opposing Ouroboros switches in, and honestly I should have just used Desperation. But, damage is damage. Palangolin is at low HP, threatening dual wield Desperation. Arrow at max AP, threatening Butterfly Effect. They are both speed tied. If we play this coin flip, one of us will just win the game on the spot. So of course, instinctively I knew that neither of us would risk it. But I need to start setting up for future rounds. I bring in Ouroboros and Kepri. New Leaf comes out. Sora threatens huge damage this turn with Butterfly Effect and Rapid Fire, but knowing this, they could easily use this opportunity to either switch in Paw Prints, or use Sticky Spray, or both. But I have a plan. I stay in. In a game where stacking status effects is the key to victory, I chose to go against Intuition. And it pays off. But it's not over yet. Sora doesn't decide to mess around. If AP Refund activates, which is a 20% chance, Sunny will be seeing the light. Phew, we got spared there. But I am going to end this here and now. Eventually. It still took a while, but Sora doesn't have enough resources to find a way out of this. For game 2, Sora and I both had the same idea of leading Anathema Khepri. Except, I don't get CS Race Arms. Because of course, 91% chance by the way. I do not want to deal with a possible sticky spray opening from Sora, so I switch in Palangolin and opt for Rapid Fire. Sora's switches being processed first is not great, and even worse, the opposing Palan barely lives. In this position, their Palangolin will always move first and my Palan speed ties the arrow. I go for a risky play. The random crit is not great, but it does not matter. Sunny goes down. Sora forfeits and I win the set. I guess that's it. I finally won a set against Sora in such an unceremonious fashion, but at what cost? Night has fallen. And when you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you. Friedrich Nietzsche. For the semifinals, I am up against Aiden, the gay Woomy. Mia's Modus with Mind Meld, Multicopy, and Sugar Rush doesn't seem dangerous at first, but the team has a Zeus Kid core that features both Frozen Ground and Sprint. Everything could spiral out of control if Aiden finds the opportunity to set up. I lost the coin flip once again. We're currently in East Ham Woods, probably with plant type Butterfly effect. Nice for my Khepri, but Aiden has 2 poison types, so I have to keep that in mind. I lead with Anathema Khepri in case Aiden tries leading Arcade Zeus-Strike. Now, I expect Zeus-Strike to switch to a Bulkeremon that can tank a Rapid Fire, but I'll go ahead and attack anyway, and in case I win the switch priority, I'll send out Palangolin to block some statuses. Not only did I lose the 50-50, I also did not get Fair Fight up, but at least I scored a crit on Galagor. Because I have Mind Meld up, I have one more chance for Fair Fight because it could get really ugly really quickly with Sticky Spray Brace for impact. Okay, fairly decent trade there. Taking one fighter down is good, but it's not over yet. With one turn of Fair Fight left, I switch out Khepri to intentionally let the timer expire, and then click Sticky Spray. A +4 crit Icicle Dart will do the job just fine. For game 2, I lead with Palangolin Zeus-Strike, which is a good lead provided Aiden doesn't lead with Zeus-Kid. In case Zeus-Strike attacks the player slot with Icicle Dart rather than switch out, I send out Khepri and go for a new leaf opening. I slowly try and make progress until I find an opening. Time to bring out the big guns. Except, yeah. That completely slipped my mind that it does that. No matter. The Sun Beetle finds a way. It always does. The problem is Arcade comes out and I'm completely out of position. I try to send out Error and Zeus-Strike, but +4 Arcade Icicle Dart crit just... yeah. Should have calced that beforehand. Would have been better off to sacrifice a different tape. I am now staring another dual-wield Icicle Dart, so I have to make a risk here and send out Khepri and hope it survives. It all comes down to this. We dodge the first one, and the second one isn't a crit. If Rapid Fire misses due to the accuracy down, Arcade will sweep here and possibly end game 2. I decide to just risk it all and... okay, Mia's Modus switches in. Rapid Fire connects. Thanks, Khepri. Here we go, finals time. I'd rather not have a repeat of the Little Cup tournament where I fumbled the championship match. As for who I'll be facing, meet Web Bowser. This is his first tournament and he made it all the way to the finals with a Meredith team and 3 unique monsters. So it's no surprise that he would be the favorite to win, and that fact was made very apparent to me. His main strategy revolves around Fair Fight. The team also leans heavily towards bulk, so taking it down will be difficult, and I have to be extra cautious with managing HP. We arranged our schedule one day in advance, but I was feeling really tense, so I asked Sora for help in practicing this matchup. After a couple games, they think I've got nothing to worry about, but I am starting to feel the pressure. Well, no time to worry about that. It's time to worry about that. I'll be sticking to Zoostrike Anathema in case he opens with Palangolin. Already off to a good start. So I'll just go ahead and switch in Palangolin, hope Fair Fight activates, because this will completely neutralize Web Bowser's leads if both decide to stay in. It pays off massively. Since I'm in prime position here, I just go for the offensive. Okay, Mascoturn is gone. I have to be careful with Meredith boosted Cat 5 dealing huge amounts of damage. Arcade and Palan show up, but that's fine because I anticipated a switch. With Arcade present, I need to be ready for Firefight Palan to switch in to block Sticky Spray. Palan gets the job done and I go for the attack. If you think things are going really well, you're very wrong. And Scarlet Teeth is about to demonstrate why. There's really only one way forward here, and that's Counter Fusion. Try as I may to whittle its HP down, there's just no way through this. I was right to be worried about this matchup. I need to figure out how to navigate around Scarlet Teeth because this thing will always be a problem if Web Bowser gets Fusion up. I do get to host this time though, but I want default weather so that Butterfly effect will match the user's type. Okay, already off to a bad start with not getting CS Frozen ground up. I would rather have Fair Fight up even if this team is designed around that, because I do not want to have to deal with Arcade right now. So I just launch an attack with Zoostrike, which completely whiffs. This is really bad. Mascoturn is just running over the game right now, and there's not much I can do to stop it. It just keeps barely missing KO, so I can't find a safe switch in. The rest of my backline took substantial damage, and I need to keep Khepri healthy for the endgame. I have to risk the crit here and let Palangolin stay so I can build up the fusion meter. But you know how this game is. When you're already behind, luck becomes more ruthless and unforgiving. I don't know how I barely survived that one, but thanks to that, Fair Fight is now gone and I can safely send out Khepri. Fuse here, go for Butterfly effect. Meredith goes down in one hit. Anything less than that would have been disastrous. Cat 5 goes down in one hit. From there, I clean up to win Game 2. This is it. Game 3. All or nothing. I don't know why, but my gut tells me to expect a Palangolin lead, so I decided to go for a double Neeleaf lead. Well, there's the Palangolin. I go for the attack here for free damage. Both Scarlet Teeth and Mascoturn are online, so I have to play defensively. I can't find a good opportunity to switch in something, so I had to let Prince go down. I tried to make a prediction here, but it didn't work in my favor. Scarlet Teeth attacks the wrong slot and I'm very much in a bad position. I need to remove Evasion Nullified and prevent Scarlet Teeth from setting up again. Really now? I need to remove Evasion Nullified before Arcade eliminates Sunny. Zoostrike barely surviving is really bad. I would have rather it went down that round. I don't have much choice left. It's Khepri or bust. Fair Fight is now up. I go for the offense here for two reasons. 1. I need to get damage out. 2. This is the safest path to victory. And now, it's time. While we all know what's about to happen, pay attention to Palangolin's HP. I could just as easily have switched into Palan, outspeed the Cat 5, bring it down, and have Arrow close out the game. But I don't want to risk it at Game 3 of the finals. Fair Fight is up and I have access to max power Butterfly effect. I put in a lot of work to get here, and it finally pays off, but this doesn't feel good. I don't feel proud about the fact that I won another tournament. If anything, the voices. The voices scream that I do not deserve this. The finals match was streamed live on Discord. After the fact, some people were arguing that Fusion is broken, and it very much sounded like they think I only won the whole tournament because of Fusion. Like, yeah, I suppose that's true, but really? We couldn't pick a better timing for that? Even worse, I know some of them wouldn't be saying that had Web Browser won instead. That really left a bad taste in my mouth, especially considering who these people were. But that is merely a small slice of what I had to endure for the longest time, because it was the only way to keep the whole thing afloat. I grow tired of this, and I've had enough just silently putting up with all this nonsense and being unable to do anything, and it's just... I don't think I'm making any sense here, so it's about time we shed some light on the truth of the matter. About 2 years ago, the community had an explosion of new people, and it was clear that the server needed more staff to handle demands and to steer the big decisions that would affect the competitive scene. I wasn't supposed to be a part of this. The council, as it was called back then. I got in as an honorific member, and then I eventually started doing a larger and larger share of the work because at the time I happened to be very available, and hands were desperately needed. I ended up holding the fort a lot of the time. Naturally, I am the first target when there's backlash or I need to pin the blame on for other issues. Other problems soon showed up, but I could only do so much. I couldn't do anything about them even if I wanted to. A lot has changed since then, and yet at the same time, nothing has changed. Council members rebranded to Ranger Captains. The problems though, the people, the leadership, the infrastructure, the culture, they're here to stay. It was a lingering miasma, slowly killing the organism from inside. This sickness can no longer be ignored. The body has collapsed, struggling to perform its daily operations. And as someone who's been trying to steer the whole thing for the longest time, that takes a toll on you. While you try your best to keep it together, this miasma builds up in the subconscious level. It agitates, it gets absorbed and regurgitated into something equally foul. And you make mistakes that you deeply regret in the heat of the moment. It was when I realized I am no different from the very problems I had to contend with for the longest time. This is all my fault really. I've turned a blind eye for too long, and now the darkness has come to reap what was sown. But no one could hold me accountable for what I've done. It would be hypocrisy to demand to expel one but allow the other to walk away freely. But who's going to show me the way out anyway? I despise that I have become so deeply embedded into all of this that I, too, have caught its worst symptoms. No, the only way forward is to let it all get cleansed once and for all. And that cannot happen while I remain a part of it. It's time to go dark. Over 8 months have passed since I left the server. It was a long time to reflect and a long time to just fade away into the darkness. Honestly, I wasn't supposed to come back anytime soon. It's not like I was wanted again, that I was needed again. Or at least that's what I thought. Well, I kind of came back because change was coming, and I'm gonna be there for it. My return wasn't even anything grand. I just awkwardly rolled up one day and, well, I haven't been banned yet, so I guess it worked out in the end. Of course, with a change in leadership and a renewed interest in a brand new rule set, things are starting to look up again. This time it would be different. This time we could bounce back from the year-long stasis and decay and have a revival in the PvP scene. But I can't help but think that rebirth, while nice, only ever comes after death. And a part of me had to die for that.